What's up everyone, thank you for tuning in. So today I'm going to show you how to put 91 to 96 4th generation Honda Prelude seats into your 96 to 2000 6th generation Honda Civic. Okay, so these are what they look like. Kind of have a almost bucket style look to them. I really enjoy them and love them. Definitely a lot better than the stock seats that this vehicle came with. Unless you get the JDM EK, which came with Recaros, but I didn't get that lucky. So anyway, to remove this seat, well, right now it's sitting on the EK frame rails from the last seats, and I was able to mount them onto these seats, as that's what you're going to have to do. So I'm going to kind of work my way backwards because I did install these seats before I even decided making this channel. So yeah, so let me show you this. It's four bolts, one here, there, and then behind, there, and there, and there's all four of them are going to be 12 millimeter. So I'm going to take those off right now. Okay, so this seat to the left is going to be the Prelude seat with the EK rails, and this is the old passenger side EK seat. And I'm showing you everything that's off of it that was needed to be put onto the Prelude seat. So I didn't have to use any of this from the previous stock EK seat. And you guys are like carrying whatever EK, Ej8, specifically it's Ej8, so just getting into specifics there if that matters. So here, let me talk about the easiest part. So this is going to be the right side. Now everything's pretty much the same thing as on the driver's side. There's nothing really too different except for where all these are going to be, but that's pretty much about it. So for the right side of the passenger seat, so this whole piece right here, this mechanism, is from the Prelude. I didn't take any of this off. Okay, and then this is the old EK rail. Now if you see here where they used to connect, there used to be 3 mounting points. 1, 2, 3. Let me show you this on this. Hang on a sec, sorry guys. Okay, so there's going to be 1 point here. There should be another one in here. And then other one right here. I believe the adjacent side is going to be a nut. So the only thing I did on this side, or I believe on both of these as well, was I only actually did the 2 mounts because I cannot get to the one in the center. I could if I were able to drill out another hole to be able to mount it, but honestly I didn't feel like that was necessary. And for the record, I've had these seats in daily driven and spirited driving for about a year. I put these in back in February 2019, and as regards to their driver's side, I have had 0 issues with it at all. Nothing of the seat felt started rocking, nothing felt loose. It kept me in the seat a lot better than the stock seat did. So now moving on to a little bit more complicated part on this other side. So as you can tell, EK side and everything I used on that side. So the 3 mounting points actually line up to a certain extent. So this one's fine, that one is fine, this one is the big one. Now this one I'm probably gonna have a huge criticism on, and I was actually waiting to do it the right way, or a better way, let's just put it at that, before I made this video. But I figured I'd just show you guys, you know, out of honesty, just for proof that at least right now it is April 2020 and the best times of COVID-19, being sarcastic by the way. I had these seats installed around February 2019. So yeah, as you can see, that is a crap ton of spacers. But the reasoning for that is because this is the only long bolt I had. I believe this was actually for an alternator from another vehicle. I just had this super long bolt laying around because the original bolt that went into here was not long enough at all to be able to mount. But lucky enough, the hole on the actual seat itself on the Prelude seat lined up to this. But unfortunately, as you can tell by design, this bolt, if I can get this to, here we go, it's not a fully threaded bolt. And honestly, I can just keep tightening this and tightening this to where this would just start pushing it in that way to bending this rail, which is not what I wanted. So I basically, I'll be honest, I just pretty much eyeballed it and just pretty much tightened this down until I seen that it was straight. I know by cameras the perception of it's going to be quite altered, or slightly, doesn't matter. But yeah, so I just used these spacers to pretty much make sure that this was fully tightened down, this wasn't moving anywhere. And I figured after a long, after a short period of time driving from vibrations and whatnot, that this would start creeping its way back out, which maybe in micro portions it did, but it wasn't enough for me to notice a difference or even give the feeling of a looser seat, so to speak. And I rock this back and forth every day. When I get out of my car, it's just a habit of mine. I like to push my seat all the way back as far as I can, just to make it easier for me to get out and get inside the car, especially if I have things with me that I have to put in, like a bag of sorts. So what I'm going to do right now before I put the seat back in, because the reason I'm making this video now is because I'm actually going to head out to my local hardware shop and gather a nut and washer, preferably a 2-washer washer and a crush washer, and I want to put it on this thread and pretty much find the right appropriate distance. I'm going to mark this down where it's at right now, and then tighten the nut to this so this doesn't have any play. That's pretty much the plan right now. It may be different. I might actually get a whole new long bolt for this, and then maybe get 2 pairs of nuts, one going out this way, another one going out this way, just for making sure this won't move at all. Or yeah, so far that's the only thing that kind of makes sense for me right now. I might get 3. It all depends. Honestly, the right thing to do would probably get an appropriate length bolt along with the nut and washer, but seeing how this seat rail was not made specifically for this seat, that seems to be the only issue right now, and I'm gonna stick with the plan that I just mentioned, and we'll go from there. Okay, I got it in, and it's definitely a lot better. It definitely seems more legit. A lot better than having a bunch of washers on that end to space it out. Here's everything that I got. I'll leave this list in the description below as well. Not links to them. You guys can pick this up at any your local hardware store, or find them online on Amazon if you can. But so this is for hardware for both seats, for passenger and driver. And that's the final product right here. So we got the 1 bolt coming in through here, the long one going in through here. Got 2 nuts, one on this end with a lock washer or a crush washer, or whatever you guys want to call it, split washer. And this is going to be applying locking force right here on the rail itself. The second nut, crush washer to the actual seat itself. So lock in on this end, lock in on the rail itself. Definitely an improvement to the old setup. Now you guys can, if you guys want to, I wanted to pick up more washers. Sorry, filming and looking at my finger at the same time. You could get 2 more washers, put one on this end, there's Will, and here, but they ran out of washers when I got them, which is why I don't have them, but I feel like the setup will still work. Keep in mind, if you were gonna get a washer for this side, this washer seems to either be a really tight fit, or it may not fit at all in regards to this area right here around the bolt itself. There you go. So this is what it looks like on the seat and how I have it set up. So nut here, crush washer in between is going to be the seat rail itself. Then head of the bolt, nut, crush washer, seat. Another thing too, guys, when you guys are getting this down an easy way, you guys can probably thread it on by hand, but it gets pretty tough trying to thread it on, at least for me. You guys, I suggest using a ratchet or using a gun. And pretty much what you want to keep an eye on is just get this down to where it's flush to the rail itself. What you don't want to do is apply pressure to where this rail starts going inward towards the seat, or else it's going to start like coming to, both rails are going to start, or at least that rail is going to start coming together like that, and then when you try to mount this back inside the car itself, it's not going to line up well. So just keep in mind of that. So I'm going to throw the seat back in and see where we're at. Okay, the seat's finally back in. A couple tips, guys, and some information. So what I like to do when I put the seat brackets back under the body itself, I like to just finger thread all 4 bolts. Do up front, you guys know what I'm talking about. just to pretty much make sure I can thread them. So if in case you like tighten one down all the way and then you can't line up the other ones because it's already tightened down right there, it's just a lot easier to make your final finishing torque down once everything's threaded. I found that the easiest. Now, one thing, guys, I'll let you guys know that you guys may sometimes kind of miss a step. So search online to see what the torque specs are for the seat brackets to the body itself, to the flooring itself. And this is the same specs that go for Civics as well as Integras. So the 3 small bolts as indicated, so here, and then the 2 front ones are rated to be 16 foot-pounds of torque, and then the bigger one, the flat one that's towards the center console, is rated for 29 foot-pounds of torque. Okay, so in the bottom of all my videos in the description, I have a disclaimer that pretty much just covers that I'm not responsible for any modification that you do to your vehicle that causes damage, as well as injury to yourself or death and so on and so forth. So the reason why I'm bringing this up right now is because the content in this video pretty much covers a modification done to a pretty important safety equipment in your vehicle in regards to seats. It's the one thing keeping you comfortably and safely strapped down in your car while you drive, and it's supposed to do the same job if you get in an accident or, you know, worst comes to worst, whatever situation you find yourself in. It's supposed to help keep you safe and locked down along with your seatbelt and or harness. So now that I have that out of the way, I'm going to close this video out talking about pros and cons about this seat. So I have had this seat in, I've been driving in it since February 2019, and I love it. I love it way over the original seat in it. I can't compare it to the SI seat as well as the Type R Recaro seats that these cars came with over in Japan and stuff. I can't really do a comparison, but I'm pretty sure I have my money on the Recaros being a lot better than these seats. But then again, I said this is just a quick junkyard option. I picked both of these seats up for like $50, I believe, if memory serves me right. So you can't really beat that with, like, especially one of them with like 1 cigarette burn. So kind of a win for me there, if I say so myself. So the pros, definitely has that bucket style racing design in it that helps keep you in your seat during like high-speed cornering and stuff like that. So that's a huge plus. I believe it's way more comfortable than the original seats. It has an adjustable lower lumbar support in there, which is really nice. I love the one-piece design as well. I'm not a fan of headrests. Driving doesn't really bother me, but when it comes to being a passenger, I hate headrests for some odd reason. Like if I'm trying to sleep, I usually take the headrest off, and there are risks to taking that off if you get rear-ended or whatnot too. There's a reason why there's a headrest there, so kind of prevents your head snapping off. Not literally, but you know, you guys understand what I'm getting at on that part. So overall, for the pros, comfortable, comfort options, and it hugs you better than the original seat during corners. Cons. The only cons I can see, honestly, would be depending on your built size and whatnot, then it may be a lot better or a lot worse for you in regards to the design of the seat in this vehicle specifically. And the second one would be weight. With rails and hardware on both seats together, I did a weight test and I didn't weigh it. So just by picking it up, just by pretty much by feel, if I was to guess how much of a difference the Prelude seats have, I would say somewhere between 3 to 6 pounds heavier. But honestly, all the pros kind of outweigh the negatives on that. So if you guys are like worried about, you know, lightweight stuff like that, then this is probably not a seat for you. But then again, as I said, this is a junkyard option. It's a pretty good option that's out there that works for this car. So yeah, that's about it, guys. If you have any questions, ask me in the comments below and I'll answer them as soon as I can. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Thank you for watching.